Hey friends, this is Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead, and I absolutely completely forgot to record the intro for this video. Here is homemade chicken soup from Carcass to Noodles. You'll see I have a little bit of liquid in this crock pot. It is just the juice from the pumpkin, and I use the pumpkin pie. And before I start with the meat, I'm just going to take this little baby onion and throw it in there. And then these are the carrots I'm going to use in tomorrow's soup. So they've been well scrubbed. I'm going to cut the tops and bottoms off them and drop that into the crock pot as well. Okay, now I'm going to peel the carrots peel the carrot peelings into the crock pot. Carrots are well cleaned. They've been scrubbed twice, once yesterday and once today. These are organically grown carrots, folks. And so was that little onion I put in there. All right, so there is some veg in there and some pumpkin water for my thing. Now we're going to work on the chicken. Let's see what we got here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take as much meat off of this as I can for lunch meat. I've got a couple of freezer bags here. These bones are going right into the crock. I'm going to take my bag and I'm going to fold it over and open it up and kind of set it square on the table here for the meat. Tip off the wing and throw that in there. Now, one thing to remember about making soup stock, because basically that's what we're doing. We're going to make soup stock and then tomorrow we're making the soup. One of the things you need to know is once you got all your ingredients for your stock in the crock pot, guys, fill it with cold water, not hot. Start from cold. And the only explanation I can give you is all the ingredients heat up at the way they're supposed to, and it helps draw all the minerals and cartilage out, like the minerals and gelatin out of the cartilage and stuff. Shoot, that was supposed to be a shoot. Well, it doesn't hurt if I get a little meat in, but you don't want to deny the skin too, right? Okay, Gracie, you can have a little piece of skin, but really this is flavor going into the pot here. There you go. I dropped it. I didn't let her touch my hand. Look at this breast meat. I'm just going to put that whole into the bag like that, but we just want to get the really good stuff. Ow, my hands do not like digging like that. My thumbs don't like digging like that. Make sure there's no bones. You're going to be eating chicken sandwiches. Well, maybe I'll divide the bag in half and put one in the freezer for another day. But it is so much healthier than like bologna and you know, pressed ham and stuff, because that stuff is so high in sodium and chemicals. And this is just plain old chicken. You know, you don't want to throw out, you know, the cartilage ends of the bones. You want those in your soup, because that's what turns everything into jelly. And I've already made a stuffing, which was solid sausage meat, stuffing, leftover carrots and mashed potatoes casserole that's going in the freezer. There we go. And we're going to take that, just smash this down in, put all this stuff, give that to Gracie. And I'm going to put about 2 liters of cold water over this. After deboning your chicken, you're going to want to put it in a plastic bag. And you're going to want to press all the air out of it. And then we're going to do this handy Ziploc. And we're going to do this and close it. And then I'm going to put an elastic on this, and it's going to go in my refrigerator freezer for either lunches one week, if we run out of lunch meat. This is going into the freezer for either 2 more suppers or a week of lunch meat. Okay, it's lunchtime the next day. and this has been cooking all day yesterday, and all morning, and all night. So I'm just going to lift this stuff out and put it in this tub. And when it cools down, I will go through it for meat. And look at that rich stock. Look at that beautiful stock. So in here, I'm going to put in some leeks. Leeks and onions are really good for colds. Frozen celery, put some of that in there. Here we have our carrots that we peeled yesterday. And I'm going to be making noodles for this. Now it doesn't look like much onion, but it's not a huge pot of soup. And the onion and the carrots and the celery are going to give off some liquid. Just enough liquid to cook our noodles in. Garden fresh carrots. I haven't done got the carrots yet. I'll be doing that probably this weekend and next week. We're not adding potatoes, A, because of the great pie grenade in the kitchen. I had to use the last of my potatoes on a second pot. So we're not going to worry about it. Yes, I could put some canned potatoes in here, but I'm putting noodles in, right? We're going to give this a stir. And I think, well, we'll just see. Maybe I'll add a jar of bone broth later. We will see. Okay, folks, I'm getting ready to make my noodles here for my soup tonight. And I'm not making a lot. It's just for the soup. So I'm going to do 3/4 of a cup of flour, 1 heaping tablespoon of egg powder. If you're going to use real eggs, just use 1 egg and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to stir this up. Now I'm going to go get a 1/2 cup or a cup of water, 3/4 of a cup of water. It's usually about the same amount of water as, because let's just do it by texture. Let's just do this by texture. Now, like I said, if you're using an egg, you would use a cup of flour to 1 egg to a bit of salt, but I'm adding water because of the eggs. So let's just, I got maybe a 1/2 cup of water in here. I'm using this great big bowl because I just used it to mix pancake mix, folks, so I'm not going to dirty another bowl. Scrape all anything stuck to the bowl. And then we'll be right back and I will meet you guys over at the KitchenAids. I keep flouring my dough until it comes through without any issues. But it's still really sticky. Flour again, and I just keep folding it and flouring it. I should have made it a little less wet, but I prefer it to be slightly wet to begin with, because if it's too dry, it breaks apart. So you want it wet so that you can add flour as you roll it. I think we're just almost ready for thinner dough. Now, this would be a massive job if I was actually making noodles for like a month, which I just might do soon. I'll make this a little bit thinner. Here are all the noodles for tonight's soup. You see how the broth, we get more broth because of the vegetables? Now I'm going to pick through this for meat from now that it's cooled down. And there is lots of meat. I probably will end up putting an extra bit of broth in here. We'll see. But there is plenty of meat left from the bones that we're just going to drop right in here. Now, the more meat you want, the more you're going to have to go through this. I'm just picking out the nicest pieces. Now remember, this was a home-raised chicken, homegrown celery, carrots, leeks, and onions. And so why wouldn't I make homemade noodles for it, right? You just want the best, especially when we both got colds. Look at how rich that is. This is going to be more of a noodle dish than a soup dish, but it's got all the good nutrients in it. And later, before Howie comes home, we'll just drop these noodles in. All right, Howie's going to be home in about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, I did go ahead and add a pint of my beef bone broth just because I wanted more liquid for the noodles. Look, isn't that wonderful? So I'm just going to take my noodles off the side of this bowl and start dropping them in. And trust me, it doesn't look like it, but that's a lot of noodles. Oh my God, that's so good. It needs nothing else. Except maybe a little bit of garlic for medicinal reasons. There we go. So when Howard comes home, you know what's going to happen. You're going to see how sick he is because he sounds like he ate gravel for breakfast. Okay, so Howard's home. Let's have a look. See, I told you. 15 minutes. Look at these beautiful, thick, homemade noodles. Look at that. Isn't that stunningly beautiful? There we go. We're going to pepper this and get him some bread and butter, and we're going to take it to Papa. So the bread's in the freezer, so he's getting a buttered hamburger bun. Kind of anticlimactic after all the work I put into this soup, but...
Yeah, a homemade bun would have been really nice.
Don't push your luck. I feel sick too.
Eat your chicken soup.
Eat your chickens. I'm going to. Watch it. It's hot, eh?
Yes, you do that to me every time.
No, I don't do that to you. You
bring me a hot bowl of soup.
As your wife, it is my job to give you, and I don't give a crap about all the feminists out there. My job as your wife is to serve you a hot meal when you walk in the door. So don't bitch about it being hot.
Not hot enough to burn my mouth.
Well, you blow on it, silly man.
But it's very tasty.
Well, that's the penicillin, man, for the common cold. I love you, baby. Eat your soup.
Give Gracie a noodle.
Give Gracie a noodle. I'll get Gracie a noodle. Oh. She'll get the one.
2 noodles.
There you go. This is the Miss Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, now I need to have my soup because we both have colds and we're going to sit in front of the boob tube and watch some TV. Mwah! Take care. God bless.